Today, we're talking with Becky Newhook, Marketing Director of Metron, about results-focused marketing. Welcome to Beyond SaaS. I'm Jason Niedle, founder of Tethos. We're a growth agency, and we partner with tech companies to deliver growth solutions and sales. And we've taken what we've learned and recently put them into a hypergrowth playbook, which I'm pretty excited about. You can find that at tethos.com/podcast. And of course, I'm a marketer, so I had to have the lead magnet, but I tried to make this one actually useful for you. So either check out the link or just drop growth in the comments and I'll DM it to you. But today, I'm really excited to talk to someone in my same field, which is really nice and a rare treat for me here. So Becky is the co-founder and the marketing director of Metron, and that's a full-service marketing agency that offers SEO and AdWords and website and email and social media. And it sounds like along the way you were in IT and figured out that you could kind of take this and cross that communication gap and solve that problem there. And I hear that you have a passion for creating online communities, and so I'm just excited to hear about what you've been learning and seeing out there. So welcome, Becky.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jason.
Of course. Hey, before I forget, do you have a quick tip for us, a golden nugget?
Yeah, Golden Nugget. I thought I'd share a book that I think is really helpful for people, not just in business, but I do think that if you're going to do business, you should really also be good at being who you are. Because to be good in business, you should probably be good at being yourself. So this book is Quantum Success. This is the one that I would recommend read. I think that we're all looking to be successful people, but I don't think success is what we think it is. So this book helps kind of really understand quantum success and what we can do to be part of that. And I think personally overflows into business. So that's
I'm
my
adding
little
that to my
golden
reading
nugget.
list for sure.
Do it.
Awesome. I've noticed before we jump in about Metron, I've noticed that it's actually really hard to find women in tech and in tech fields. Why do you think that is, and what needs to change?
Oh, it's such a good question. I come from really creative background and really relational. And so I had to really get into data and numbers, which it hasn't been my forte, but it's become something that I love to dive into. But just that relational aspect, a lot of data driven, lead magnet, lead gen, success. I find that to be very non-relational, and women maybe tend to be more relational. And maybe that's why we lean outside of that. I don't know, but that's like for me, I'm a relational person. And so that for me is a very negative. Like if you're going to lead magnet me, I'm probably not clicking your link because I know that you're 20 pages deep and then you're going to ask me $1,500 and overpromise and underdeliver. And so I don't like that.
Ouch.
So, so for me, I'm just going, wait a minute, there has to be a better way. And I think that sometimes it's intimidating to show up as a woman in this industry and not pay attention to a lot of the things that people pay attention to.
And I think it's a really super interesting through line because I talk to all these companies and they talk about tech and their AI and this and that. And it's all there. But then at the same time, when they're talking about growth, they're saying focus on the problem that you solve, which is a human thing and requires
Yeah.
relationships and requires
Yeah.
understanding people. And so I think all of the tech execs that I've talked to are really struggling with the divide of like tech product and
Yeah.
logic and code. And then yet it still depends on relationships and humans and like crossing that divide. So tell me about, let's use that as the lead into Metron. Like tell me about Metron.
Yeah, so you said what we do. I think for me, as I started to like wade through the industry, and it is a wade through, like it's murky. And like I said, I think it over promises and under delivers a lot of the time. So we kind of came in and started rescuing people. So they'd be like, I just paid $18,000 for my website. I have 2 pages. I've got nothing. And just the accountability in SEO alone has been just jaw dropping that people will come to me and say, I paid $10,000. I'm not on page 1, but they said they've done this. And I said, well, where's your analytics and your reporting? Well, I haven't got reporting. And I start hearing all this information and I'm just going, wait a minute, like this doesn't work. People want integrity. Like people want results, not just like, hey, I'm going to take your money. I don't really care where you land in 6 months, but I'm going to take your money anyways because I just want to be successful. So that doesn't work for me because it doesn't align with my values. And so I think once we started rescuing company, we realized, oh, this is a very murky industry and it's kind of gross. So some people are paying $6,000 for monthly SEO and some people are like, oh, I got $250 a month. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that won't work either. But I would just realize like, okay, wait a minute. There is a place for someone who can come in, charge appropriately, still make a profit and give results. And
Hmm.
so that's what kind of got me into the industry, was like the rescuing of companies that have been taken advantage of by website companies and by SEO companies. And we came in and we did something worth to them, and it made a difference for them. And I think I got kind of got hooked on that.
Feel like the traditional agency model was you don't know how to do this and there's no way you're going to figure it out, so it'll cost you a bunch of money, and you know you have to pay a bunch of money,
Yeah.
and therefore people did, and they would deliver the thing they said they'd deliver, usually like here's a site. But really nobody wants a site. They want results. The step further, which, or two steps further. They want the leads that come from the sites and the trust and the educational opportunities, but then they want the sale, right? And I don't think as an industry that we were responsible for that for a long time. And now that the tools are semi-automated and you can go to Lovable and kind of make a site or whatever in an hour, I think we have to take ourselves to the next step and be responsible for results.
That's right. So that's the biggest problem. So we offer a free website now. We have for years. Because
Mm.
what's the point of building you a website if you want to take that $3,000 to $5,000 for your website, and now you have to give me another 6 to 10,000 over 6 months to optimize the site. When I know that site, I have a developer on salary, so I can throw them a basic this is a basic 5 to 7 page WordPress website. That's free. Like it's a basic site, but I know he can do that in 40 to 50 hours. I know we can pump that out if we have the content in 40 to 50 hours from start to finish. So if I give you a free website and you're willing to sign on for 6 to 12 months so I can do what I should be doing with that website, that's a way better exchange for me.
The website's free. The results cost money.
Yeah, that's about it. Because
But it's how it
like you
should be, honestly, right? Like the
honestly,
website's
and
an
we all know
intermediary. It's a
we
means to
all
an
know
end.
that someone's using a template. We know that some of these companies are using the 1 hour AI creating websites, and you're going to charge $3,000 for that. So go back to my golden nugget book. That's not going to work in the end. Like that is going to come back to you. That type of sales and kind of the switch and bait, like I just don't like it. So let's be upfront. Say the website can be free. It can be in reality. And then it does take a lot of work. Search engine optimization is a lot of work. It's not simple. You have to do all this stuff to be, we follow all the things that Google wants you to follow, because we do other search engines, but obviously Google's king. So you have to follow them. And it takes time to get you to number one, especially if you're in a competitive industry. So that's the other thing, is let's be integral about it.
Well, and especially now that you have to start thinking about AI summaries and all that stuff, that's a whole new world, right?
Yeah, and people talking into their phones and talking into everything, and now we have to guess what you're saying. Like, now, of course, we have all the data we can pull, but people aren't just saying like best plumber. They're like saying, I'd like a plumber that knows how to unplug my sink in Dallas, Texas. And you're like, oh, I need to search for that. So like obviously using keywords and such, but you know what I mean? Like things have
Oh, it's
changed.
totally different. Yeah.
So it's a very different approach, and the strategy has changed. So you have to be upfront with the client and be like, hey, at a yoga studio, and I said, hey, I'm not going to get you on page one in 3 months. Like that's
Mm.
not going to happen in your city, but I can probably do it in 10 to 12, and I can get you long-term results. And sure enough, she did. Well, they're doing great. Then I have another one who's like a poo picking company. Well, like for dogs. That's a very niche. So I said, oh, I can get you in page one for 3 months. You bet I can. And sure enough, they're one of the top companies in the city now, with all the SEO that we did with getting them on page one and then optimizing everything else that goes along with that. So you have to be upfront with the client. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to get you on page one. I can do it. It's just like, here's the strategy. Here's why you won't be there in 3 months. Here's why it's going to take us 12 months, and give all the upfront information. And people love to be educated. Like, I think the industry has treated people like idiots. This is
Because
really
it was better to
technical.
keep them in secret. It was better to keep them not knowing.
Yeah, because they're willing to pay you 15, 20, 30 grand for their company to get on page one. I'm like, this is not a mystery. I lay out everything that we do for SEO. Everything that we do is laid out in a document, and everything that we do every month. And then the maintenance, like everything is in full light, and I'm not trying to pull wool over your eyes. And I say, like, if in 6 months your data shows that your Google certified phone, like that's the thing that they're doing now, right? The certified for services. It's a great paid feature. If that's what's bringing in the leads for you, and your organic is actually not really showing up for you, then at least 6 months you have a great website, great content, you have all the data, and I will wish you all the best. Go with what works. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the conversations I have with my clients. I'm not trying to string them along for 5 years. I'm trying to do what's best for them.
Well, so in the beginning, right before we jumped on the actual podcast, you were talking about your original journey of how you founded Metron. So tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, sure. So my husband's been in IT for many, many, many years. He's basically semi-retired out of that now. And so he found that people were having such a hard time with their websites. Like changes were taking weeks and they would not get a hold of their web people. And they'd be like, oh, my website. Oh my gosh, I don't know where this guy is. And constantly like these updates should take 30 seconds, Jason. We know. We know
We
that to change
know,
a
we know.
banner, picture, and update some text and update a button, this is a 10-minute change on a WordPress website it, at the max. And they were being charged an hour or 2 hours, minimum hour, $80. This is, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. So then we started building websites and I found some developers and that was hit and miss all the time. And I was looking for people. I was overseas looking for people and you just find your way through the industry.
Hmm.
I now have people that have been with me for like 5 years and they're in India and one's my SEO team and one's my developer and they're incredible and we pay them double what they make in their country. So we love the international flavor. But that was a big deal for us was to bridge that gap and then be upfront. So when people sign up for SEO, it's free website changes. They don't get charged for any changes because
Mm.
I'm in the website, like our team, they're in the website every single week. So to throw over a quick change or a new page, there's just no reason to charge them $80, $120, and then also take 2 weeks. So we do changes within 24 hours if it's a weekday and 48 hours if you catch us on a Friday through Sunday. There's just no need to wait. So when we start creating this service and integrity and honesty, people are just like, oh, can we switch everything to you? So we start building client bases being like, you guys are fast, you respond to my emails, you get things done, and you are honest about what it takes. And that changes the game for people.
It's interesting because I'm thinking, what is the heart of what you're selling? It's not SEO, it's this visibility and awareness, right? So I live in Southern California in Orange County, and Irvine Company owns like everything. And if
Right.
you go to Irvine Company, you're paying $14 a square foot for a retail spot. Why are you
Okay.
paying $14 a square foot? Like it's insane, right? Because there's foot traffic and those people will spend money. And what you're doing is you're putting them in that foot traffic spot where everybody's going by, right? Yoga in
Yep.
my
You
city,
bet.
right? And you literally are delivering the foot traffic and that visibility. And it's so interesting, but it has to be done in a completely different way than we're used to doing it in retail. You don't rent a space.
No, that's the thing. And I do explain like this is a long-term play. So yeah, if you want Google Ads, I'll sign you up. We'll get you going in a couple weeks and you'll have your phone ringing. You'll have leads coming your way. I'm not responsible for the conversion of the lead, and I've let clients go based on that. Like they've complained, they've got 30 calls. I can listen to every single call. They're recorded and go be like, you know what? You guys don't know how to, this is a waste of money for both
Hmm.
of us, a waste of time because you're not actually taking care of these leads. So that doesn't work and you're complaining. But that's a short term play. Get phone and leads, Google Ads. It works. You can make it'll make your phone ring. But if you want to, if you turn that off, you're gone. And so you're, you know, like we've built a very large Canadian CPAP online company. And so we did that. That was a nationwide rollout. And so of course we're doing SEO virtual offices to get organic reach in cities. We're doing AdWords, we're doing email marketing. That's a whole enterprise package. And that rollout is, you know, a 6 to 8 months. And they're off and running, right? But I just think that it's really important to be honest with the customers and clients that are coming my way and say, hey, this is a long play if you're doing SEO. You know, especially if you're in most of the competitive industries that want to do SEO. This is a long play, and people, as long as they understand, they're okay.
You deal with a lot of companies. What do you see as their mistakes? What are they doing wrong regularly or that you see often in terms of growing their companies?
So doing it themselves, like they show up and they've been trying to do it themselves, and I think that's a mistake if you want to grow your company.
Find a
Also,
specialist.
just yeah, and also I find like even their like Google My Business, like their profile, like there's like 10 things that you could do and you could get found on maps and you could start to be shown locally. Google is very, they've gotten really sticky with that map listing now. So we did a lot of virtual offices before and now we've got to get our clients to do video verifications at these locations. It's messy. We can do it, but like there's things that like they could do for their business that they don't actually need me, but they don't know. So they don't know. They're uneducated. Or, like I said, so many of these people are trusting people and coming to me tens of thousands of dollars lost and
Mm.
looking for help. And so they don't trust me. And I'm pretty honest about that. Like, I know that you don't trust these these things, but I'm here and I'm going to be with you to hold your hand and get you where you need to go.
And in that verification, what do you tell them? What should they be asking for that they're not getting?
Number one, data analytics on a monthly and a time to go through it. Like if it's a new client, I'm usually meeting with them monthly. A brand new client for sure, because they want to know. So that's the thing. They're not looking for like, where am I ranking? Number one, tell me my top 10 ranking keywords that I'm showing on page one for.
Mm.
So our first set of reporting for us doesn't come until month 3 because we do a quarterly baseline. And that's what we do. So we give you 3 months, you trust us, we're going to do the work. We do the baseline. And so when you weren't in the top 100, now you're in the top 10. That's usually what we can do in the first
For
3 months.
these keywords here.
Yeah. And so then we kind of, and long tail, right? Like we can go after ones that aren't getting as many searches, but they're still being searched. So we try and get them into those first because those can be pretty quick compared to the competitive ones. But yeah, so that's the biggest thing. Like ask for data and analytics and keep them accountable. Go back and be
But I
like, hey,
think a
what did you
lot of
do for me?
people make the analytics so convoluted and so complicated that the clients can't understand it. So how do you boil that down into something that matter? Like their KPI is I have more sales, right? Well, how do you show that that's happening from what you're doing?
Yeah, so I find with SEO, this is where I find it does get a little tricky because I don't have access to their sales, so I'm telling them what's happening, but I don't actually know what's happening, right? Like they're not opening their books to me. So for me, I always kind of base it on leads and then chat with them about like, are you tracking your leads? If they're coming from this Google certified phone paid thing, if they're coming from there and you've only got maybe, 10% coming from SEO organic, drop the SEO and put more money into the certified lead and go run with that. It's working for you. But they couldn't answer me. And so I said, well, listen, I need you to track this. Hi, how did you hear about us on your forms? How did you hear about us? And if it says social media, social media, social media, well, maybe you should invest in some ads in your local area because people are on social media for your industry. But if it's more like Google, 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 then I have to go to my data and say, okay, like 48% came from organic leads. And I can tell them that. I can say this is organic, this is paid marketing, and break it down for them. But we have pretty simple reporting. Like we're not fancy at all because that's what you're saying. Like I show up with these fancy things with like nobody knows what KPI. If you're a plumber and I come to you with all these terms, they're like, well, what are you talking about? So we have to be more relational and help them understand what they're looking at. So that's why it's really important to sit down and take time with them. If I do that, well, I've got clients for years. Like people just don't leave. They refer me and they stay because they get results.
Any top secret tools you want to share? Are you using SpyFu or anything fun?
I don't know. I'm really not fun, Jason. Like I hate change. I'll just tell you that right now. And I'm
As
in
the
an
world's
industry
changing every
that
time
is
you turn.
constantly changing, especially in this industry. So I get pushed through, but like I don't know. I use Podio. I've used Podio for a long time with my teams and my project boards, and it's
But
been
it works.
fantastic. It works fantastic. And they've been doing updates and upgrades, and they just really allow me to manage all of my clients and my project boards with my team. And then we're old school with our clients. We have a dashboard for them, a white label dashboard that we give them all their analytics, their ranking, and they have access to this anytime they want. I'm not hiding anything. So if they're like, why have I lost 35 positions? Call me. I'll let you know what happened because sometimes that does happen and you'll be back the next month. But yeah, so there's some I'm just kind of like old school with things. Like I use things that already exist. Like Bright Local has been really helpful as a white label tool for us, and Podio I use for all my project based stuff. Nothing too like exciting.
So how are you doing on your own marketing and sales and growth? I know we always have this cobbler shoes problems. Like, I didn't do much in my own company for years and rested on my referrals, which was fantastic for a long time, right? But
Yeah,
now it's time to do a podcast, and I see that
I
you're on
love
a
that question.
podcast, right?
Yeah, I love that question because like I don't do SEO for Metron. I even tell my clients that because it is so flipping competitive. It's just like it's not even worth my time. Like I have
SEO
my
for
Google,
SEO.
my biz. Yeah, there's so much competition, Jason. You know this. And I'm not willing to compete because I'm just not willing to compete. So we are a referral based company. We constantly get referrals, and I'm fine with that because that's been a great way to maintain what we have. The foundation is so strong and we have such great results that speaks for themselves. You'll go on my Facebook and stuff. I'm not on social. I don't have an Instagram account for Metron. I have a LinkedIn page that I don't update. I'm probably the worst example. But again, this comes down to relationship. Like, I'm not trying to scoop you into a lead magnet. I literally am just here to say, hey, I'd rather spend 30-minute consultation and get you educated and have you say no, but save you from saying yes to those three other companies who are going to take you for a ride. So I love to educate people and make sure they know, what do you need? What's the best thing for you? It's okay if you don't choose me after this consultation, but at least take away some education so you know what you're doing for you and what's best for you.
Okay, so you have 2 to 5,000 listeners here, whatever the number is. What do you wish they knew?
I wish they knew that website changes take minutes for
Right.
basic changes. And if your website company is charging you hourly for a text or an image change, you should call us, or call Jason if you do websites, because that's not acceptable. It's not. It's like stealing money from people. And so that's a practical thing. And then the other thing is, if you are not in touch with a lead at your marketing company and you're just a number and you're getting kind of put through the paces, I think it's important to have relationship, because you're a small, medium business. That's who we work with. Small and medium can be 1 to 2 million a year in sales. So that would be a medium company for me. And then small would be like up to 250 to half a million. So small to medium businesses, these guys have put everything they have into their business. They've gotten loans. They've probably maybe taken money from their house. These people are building their business and their dream. And so we have to respect that. And we have to honor that. Like, these are not just people that have $10,000 to just freely give away. This is their $10,000 that they need to turn into $100,000. And they're
Totally.
trusting us to do that. And so for me, that's a lot. That means a lot. So I have to treat these people like people, not a number. It's kind of going through the paces and automated and stuff like that. I think it's really important to have a someone that you can talk to with the questions that you have, because you're worth it. You're worth asking the questions. You're not a pain in someone's ass.
Love it. So we're in really turbulent times these days. How are you looking ahead? Like, how are you dealing with all the change and planning for growth and planning for around all
Yeah,
this, you know?
good question. I've actually, in the last 3 to 6 months, I've been kind of like looking over everything and saying, okay, so how do we compete? How do you compete with AI and 1 hour websites? How do you compete with, now the top spot is AI on searches? Like,
Yeah.
and so how do you do that? And again, for us, and I think you said that, like, when we talked at the beginning, with like, I'm about creating communities. And so people are going to have to get more used to relational marketing and community based connections over automation. And so I'm really big on content creation and being who you are, putting your face out there, because the more relational you are, this in this economic temperature, like the where we are right now, people by people, and they're getting more leery and more leery of all of this automation. And
Hmm.
so that's why you have to start showing up in community, and you have to start showing up as you. And that's what I've done with a few of our companies. Like, we have a couple other companies that helped other people. And I'm just like, listen, get community based, get relational, be the owner, be the manager, whoever you want to put out there, because people will choose people. And we're all looking for local, support local, especially with this war between America and Canada and our tariffs. Like, it's all about, like, everyone's moving in saying, hey, I want to support local. Who are you? I want to know who you are. And so that's a different message, right? And that takes more work in the long run. But I think the long play is relational marketing, community based marketing, and then do the back end work with the SEO. Like, still show up on page one, because people will still search for you. But when they find you, what are they finding? Because who cares?
Pick up the
They
phone and
found you.
be a real person.
Be a real person. Yeah.
Awesome. I've really enjoyed this. Where can people find you?
Metron.ca, the best place to go. And there's phone numbers on there if you do want to call me. And we're here to help. Like, our packages start at $1,200 a month, and it's quite inclusive. It goes up to, obviously, enterprises are much, much more. But even a 30-minute consult is no charge. Even like a review of what's happening right now to make sure you're being taken care of. That's the most important thing for me.
100%. I love that. Becky, thank you so much for being on Beyond SaaS. And for tech leadership out there, we're committed to exploring growth. So we're dropping episodes twice a week. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you can also grab our hyperscale playbook at tethos.com. If you got some value today, please share the episode with a friend. I love questions from me or future guests, comments, and any feedback below. And until next time, this is Beyond SaaS.